John Lavelle here on the two tools that everybody on the planet should have if they want to get stuff fixed, I guess. I don't know, it's the two things I can't live without. It's like breathing for me. The first one is WD-40. What can it do for me? Well, I'll tell you something. I worked on two of those electric scooters for the disabled. They're quite expensive. They run about $5,000-6,000 a piece. And the two issues came up that the people had taken to the service center were quoted $2,200 and $2,500. One for the 22 for the one cart and 25 for the other cart, and they couldn't afford it, and it was for replacing the motor. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll just jump in there and I'll take a look at what you got there. And by the way, I do my stuff for free. So that was, to them, they don't have the money to fix it, so what's the difference whether I take a look at it or not? So I took the wiring harnesses apart, and I didn't think it was the motor because those motors are generally bulletproof, and I figured it's probably a wiring problem anyways. And so I took the WD-40, I sprayed all the wiring harnesses, and presto, both of them are still running. No problems, no cost, no problems. Use WD for everything. Now, if you have a bolt that's like really, really rusty, and a nut that's really, really rusty on a bolt, if you put WD-40 on it, you're not going to get it to release. Not right away. What you want to do is you want to soak it for at least a day, sometimes 2 days. You go out there and you go to it and you keep spraying it every so often, every 3 or 4 hours. And I had a bolt that was just absolutely a big nut. I mean, absolutely would not come off this shank, and like it was like they were married. It was like one piece, and I soaked it, and it was in the basement. That's why the basement was moist, and they'd been down there for years. And I soaked, gave it a good spray, and then I came back later that evening. I gave it another good spray, and the next day I put a wrench to it. Now, I had put a wrench to it prior. This thing was not going to move. Anyways, I put a wrench to it, and I didn't even put any force in the wrench. I'm telling you, the weight of the wrench started turning the nut. I could have damn near taken it off my hand. So WD-40, I'll tell you what I use it for. I even use it for my keyboard on my computer, and every so often, you know how you spill stuff and you get a stuck key, and I get this key, the zero key. I hit zero and it just starts piling zeros across my screen. I can't get the thing stopped, and I'm pounding on the key trying to get it to release, and eventually it releases. And I had a whole bunch of keys, so I thought, you know what, I'll just take some WD-40, and so I spray the keyboard, and then I just put my hand across, and I sweep all the keys so they go down. And any keys that I knew that were stuck, I just go many times, and then I just take a paper towel and I wipe the spray off the top of the keys and the frame of the keyboard. And then guess what? My keyboard is like brand new. It even looks like brand new because it was all wet with WD-40. Now they wiped it, and it's absolutely brilliant. So I use it for anything that squeaks. Another thing, a guy had a pickup truck, and he could not get the tailgate to close. He'd flip it up, and the second that mechanism that grabs and basically locks the gate up, he would just go like bang. It was just almost like hitting a piece of steel. He just couldn't get it up. So I said, well, give me a second with it. And I just sprayed the mechanism with WD-40, and it's like click, click, no problem ever again. And it wasn't that the mechanism wasn't working. It was more that the piece of steel that hits the pin was so rough that wouldn't actually allow it to flip backwards while I was hitting the pin. It was almost like it was stuck to it because it was so rough and it wouldn't slide, so the WD actually made it slide. Now I could have fixed that problem with just using oil, but anyways, WD for everything. And I've used it on furniture, I've used it on anything, and anything that isn't working 100%, just fire it up with WD. And I free lock the guts of locks and everything. Like, throw it in your car. You know, you come out in the wintertime and you get your key in the door, and it won't move because the key is actually, the mechanism is frozen in there. In the fall, just fire some WD in there, and you won't have the problem. And, I also use it on the, a lot of people have like a flip thing inside there for popping the hood. If that gets too dry, you can snap the line. Let me tell you what a pain in the you-know-what to replace that line, because it goes all the way through the floor and all the way up, and it has to be attached. You gotta get a mechanic. They're gonna charge you a minimum of at least an hour's labor, and plus the part. WD. You WD the linkage on the front of the hood, and you also at the floor, wherever this thing is exposed, you want to get at it. And as long as you keep those things free, it's less load on the little flipper, and the less load you have on the flipper, the less chance you have snapping the cable. Anyways, you'll find a lot of uses for it. As you go on in life, you'll find even more solutions. Probably be carried in the back of your pocket and solve most of your problems. And the other thing I use is, which I find amazing, is well, you've heard of it before. It's duct tape, and man, do I fix stuff. If I need to do something real quick and test out to see whether it's going to work, I just duct tape the thing on there, and then I get to see exactly what's going to happen. And or I use it for permanent stuff. Permanent use too. I had to hook up a funnel with a line and stuff onto a pole, and because the pole is straight and the funnel is, here, and I want the funnel to stay level, you can't actually put it against the thing. I have to actually put a block down below where the funnel comes to like a pipe. So, and then I'm thinking, okay, well, what am I going to put this on with? Like, I'm going to have to somehow wire this thing in. It's not going to be very good, or use like steel bands or something. I thought, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just throw some duct tape around. It's been there for years, and it's never fallen off, and it serves its purpose. And just duct tape the thing on there, and I use duct tape for anything that I'm not WD-40. I duct tape it, and you'll find a kabillion uses for that, I'll tell you. And just a wonderful product. And the funny thing about it is it was never used. It was the only thing it's no good for is taping air ducts. That's the very reason why they invented it. But it will tape anything else, and just a great product. In fact, people even make stuff. They make wallets and stuff. Like, I never went that far, but yeah, it's a real. I use those two things more than I use any tools. I've got every single tool you can get 10 times over, and those are the two. I've even kept my circular saw together with duct tape. And there was one time when my hand was very weak because I had busted my arm. I wasn't able to pull the button in on my circular saw, so I just taped the button in, and that worked. So anyways, that's my two things that I can't live without.